good evening. How's everybody doing? Yeah! Right, a lively crowd. All right. Anybody here ever milked a cow before? One person. Y'all gotta get out more. What's that? You want to? All right, there's one over there. All right, so while these cows are getting prepped up, we gave a little bit of information about the dairy industry in California. We are the #1 dairy state in the United States. We do produce more milk and dairy products than anybody else. The dairy industry is the #1 agricultural commodity in the state of California. We have just over 1,200 dairies in California. On those 1,200 plus dairies, we have just about 1.8 million working dairy cows. Out of those 1.8 million cows, just about 90% of them are Holsteins, which is the black and white cow that you see here. They are the most popular cow because they produce more milk than any other cow. This cow is kind of an exception to the rule, however. She's quite a bit small for a Holstein. Most Holstein cows mature weight somewhere around 1,700 pounds. She's very small for a Holstein. If you've been through the barns in the back here and saw the bigger cows, that's more along the lines of what a Holstein looks like. This was just very small. And then we have the Jersey, which is the cow up front there. Our second in terms of popularity here in California. Those cows are quite small. As you can see her, she's about average for the breed. Typically weighs somewhere between 1,000, maybe 1,100 pounds mature weight. There is a big difference in milk production as well from between the two cows. Holstein, hey, party back there, we didn't get back. Holstein cows on average produce about 80 pounds of milk per day. We do the math, that's 8.4 pounds per gallon. Divide that by 80 pounds, you're going to give us somewhere around 8.5 gallons of milk a day. All right, so if you look up here on the wall, this is about the amount of milk you're going to get from a Holstein, a mature, good producing Holstein cow. However, milk fat content suffers quite a bit from a Holstein cow, only about 3.5 to 3.8%. Milk fat is the cream that's in the milk. We have a bucket that's sitting right here that's got milk in it from our 430 milking. You'll see that skim layer on top. That's the milk fat or the cream that we're talking about. That's what you need when you're making your dairy products, ice cream, yogurt, cheese, all that kind of good stuff. You need the milk fat. You can do it with Holstein's milk. It just takes you a little bit more to do it with. So the reason we have other breeds of dairy cows like the Jersey, they're much higher in milk fat. They're the highest milk fat producers of all the dairy breeds that we use in the United States. Average Jersey, mature Jersey is going to produce somewhere around 60 pounds of milk a day, but we're going to look at 4.5 to 5% milk fat content. There is a big difference in volume as well as milk fat. So again, if you're going to make those types of dairy products, you're going to want some Jersey in your herd to help get that milk fat content up. If you are selling your milk for those types of dairy products, a lot of cream mills will pay you a bonus if your milk fat content and your protein levels in your milk stay up. Jerseys are also known for very high protein milk as well. So you can get some bonuses if you have enough of the solid components in your milk to get you up there. Alright, so the first thing we want to do when we get our cows ready to milk is we want to make them somewhat clean. We don't want to go attaching our equipment to a dirty cow. We don't want to put our machine on the cow's udder when it's nice and muddy and dirty, because all that's going to go right into your storage tank. It's going to contaminate your milk. Then you got to dump your milk and you don't get paid for it. So very important that the cow's udder and teats are clean, so we don't put anything into our milk tank and contaminate our milk. One of the other reasons you'll notice it kind of hoses down the body a little bit is it cools the cow down. They don't sweat enough like we do, or say even a horse would, to benefit from evaporative cooling. So to help these cows along, we'll spray them off with water. If you were to visit a modern dairy and look at what goes on there, they use a lot of misting and cooling equipment to keep those cows comfortable. There's been research done that shows that when these cows stay cooler, they eat more. When a cow eats more, they produce more milk. They're also a little more active during the day, so it makes it easier to get these cows caught in heat so we can get them bred. They are mammals, so in order to produce milk, they do have to give birth to a calf every year. Alright, so it's very important that we keep some activity on these cows. Once our conception rate in the summertime goes down to 35–40%, it's really hard to make any money and pay the bills if you can't keep the cows bred the way they need to be bred in order to keep them in milk every year. Standard lactation cycle, which is the amount of time we milk our cows every year, is right around 305 days, so 10 months. Is when we milk the cow, and then she gets to go on what we call a dry-off period for 60 days. At the end of 60 days, she will have another calf and start that process all over. So it's 10 months of lactation, 2 months of vacation, and then she starts the process all over again. The tricky part is cows are pregnant for 9.5 months. All right, so we've got to do a little bit of math to figure this out. You're thinking, well, they're only dry for 2 months. How does that work out? These cows should be pregnant for 7 out of the 10 months that they're lactating. All right, so she'll give birth to a calf, and about 90 to 100 days later, she's going to come into heat all on her own. That's just the way her body works. So if we catch her in heat that first time, we get her bred, we get her, make sure she's pregnant on that first service. So 283 days later, she's going to lay down and have another calf. All right, so 7 out of the 10 months, if we're on schedule and things are working right, this cow should be pregnant 7 out of the 10 months that she's lactating. All right, so at the end of that 10 months, she'll go into the dry cow pen, and then at the end of that 2 months, she'll have another calf, and it starts all over again. All right, so the gadget that you saw him hooked up to the cows to get the milk out, that's called a milking claw or a milking cluster. Depends on which part of the country you come from. And that's what does the job that we used to have to do by hand. We can do it with a machine on a heavy milking cow in about 8 minutes or less. If you were to grab onto a heavy milking cow and milk her by hand, you're looking at about 30 or 40 minutes. All right, and that's somebody who knows what they're doing. You don't know what you're doing, you could be there all day. If you don't get kicked enough times to run away. So this is why we do it by machine. We do have small dairies in California. Some of that are only milking 200 or 300 cows a couple times a day. We do have very large dairies in California, dairies that are milking upwards of 5,000 plus cows 3 times a day. All right, so it depends on the size of the dairy is going to determine how big your milking parlor is. A dairy that's only milking, say, 200 cows, they only need a milking parlor big enough to hold probably 8 or 10 cows. They can get that milking done in about 5 hours. All right, we go to a larger dairy, say we go to Bullfrog Farms down the Imperial Valley. He milks 4,500 cows 3 times a day. All right, he uses what we call a 60-cow rotary, and he has holds 60 cows, makes a rotor rotation in about 7.5 minutes. A cow gets off, a new cow gets off, so that rotary is always full for the whole time that they're milking the cows. We do have another dairy up in the Lindsay area, which is up by Tulare. He milks just over 5,000 cows, I think, 3 times a day, and he has what we call a double 80 rotary parlor, so he milks 160 cows at a time. He can get all 4,500, 5,000 cows or whatever it is, milked probably in about 6 or 7 hours. All right, so it does come in handy when you have a bigger parlor because you can get it done quicker. Most dairies do milk twice a day on a 12-hour schedule. We do have dairies that milk 3 times a day on an 8-hour schedule. It's a personal preference of the dairy farmer. A lot of guys that milk 3 times a day, they do it because they can bring their cows in and cool them down more. They found that their cows produce more milk as they eat more, and again, it's easier to keep them their conception rate up because those cows are a bit more active during the day. Milk that is produced here at Centennial Farms goes towards animal use. We don't have any milk here that's produced for human consumption. We don't have the permits, nor do we have the storage facility for it. So at the dairies, we have storage tanks that we hold our milk in, and those tanks are refrigerated. The reason being is the milk coming out of the cow is 100 degrees. It's just under body temperature, which is 101.5 degrees. So you can imagine having a dairy up in Bakersfield or Tulare where it's 100 degrees all day long for the whole summer. We want to make sure our milk stays fresh. We also want to make sure it stays safe. And we want to limit bacterial growth, so we refrigerate our tanks. Those tanks typically hold that milk anywhere between 36 and 38 degrees for the whole time it's in those storage tanks. At some point during the day, we're going to have a tanker truck show up to the dairy, and that's what they're going to use to haul our milk from the dairy to the creamery. Those tanker trucks are insulated, so they can keep that milk roughly at 40 degrees or below for 4 or 5 hours. In weather like we're having now, especially in the Central Valley, they're going to ship milk late at night or early in the morning because they're going to avoid the heat, they're going to avoid traffic that way. In the winter months, when it's cool outside, we can ship milk all day long. But they're going to do it when the weather's better and it's going to stay safe. Before milk leaves the dairy in the truck and they unload it from our tank into the truck, they're going to test our milk for safety and quality. All right, once that milk passes the test, they will then load the milk into the truck and haul that milk to the creamery. Before the milk is unloaded at the creamery, it will undergo a second quality and safety test. And once the milk passes that test, they will then pump that milk into the creamery, and they will then process the milk for whatever they're going to do with it at that creamery. If for some reason the milk does not pass the test at the creamery, they hook a second hose up to the back of our tanker truck, and they dump every bit of milk in that truck down the drain, and the dairy doesn't get paid for the milk. All right, so very important. Number one, that we keep our equipment sanitized. Our storage tanks have to be sanitized twice a day every time we get done milking, just like our equipment does. But it's also very important that we keep our cows healthy and clean as well. All right, a clean cow is going to be a productive and profitable cow, and then in order to make